Day 4. Holy Mary, comfort of migrants, listen to the desperation of migrants.
Leaving for a better life without violence and poverty. This is the migrant. As a foreigner in Egypt, Mary knows this well. Let us hold fast to the simple faith and example of the Holy Mother of God, who knew how to accept and overcome every difficulty.
Application. In a small village in Central Europe, foreigners were not welcome. The political authorities in the town had forbidden the arrival of citizens from other countries. During NATO's wartime intervention against Yugoslavia, some Albanians who had fled the soldiers asked for shelter in the elementary school in a small Bavarian town. The building, which was in good shape, had been unused for years. Some classrooms for a short time could be adapted to be a dormitory. Toilets and kitchen were also functioning. The idea aroused a storm of indignation among citizens. The inhabitants used all means to hinder the plan. The refugee bus was turned back with sticks and stones. On Sunday, beneath the large cross that dominated the nave of the city's church, they found a sign hanging. It said, "This week, the citizens of our town have crucified Jesus."
Rector Major's comment.
Il contatto con i giovani migranti, i rifugiati,
Contact with young migrants, refugees, and so many other young people deprived of their basic rights is a pressing appeal for action for us. As recorded in Deuteronomy for Israel, love the foreigner, since you are foreigners in Egypt. Migrants, especially at this time in which there is no lack of attitude and policies of marginalization, exclusion, and sometimes of racism, are regarded as bothersome, and their cry goes unheard. All of this weighs on the conscience of society, seeking to globalize the economy, but not solidarity and the task of development of peoples and promoting the dignity of every person. Mission Inter Gentes is our best school. It is from there that we pray, reflect, study, live. When we isolate ourselves or stand back from the people we are called to serve, our identity as the Silesian family begins to fade and becomes a caricature. Silesian reference. Summer 1831. The Bosco family decided that John should attend school in Chieri. Chieri was a dynamic, busy city, and for a country lad like him, was a little scary. Churches, monasteries, schools, cafes, and even a theatre. At least 9,000 inhabitants. John had never seen so many people in the same place. It was exactly halfway along the road from Castelnuovo to the capital, Turin. And for John, this meant a door to the world, study to become a priest. Work in the fields and the time spent at the blacksmiths had made him a strong teenager. But the entry ticket to continue studies in Chieri required a completely different kind of strength. The first price to pay was overcoming pride by asking for handouts. He went around all the farms asking for money and wheat. "I want to become a priest, and to do this I have to study. Can you help me?" Most of the peasants had given him some wheat, flour, nuts, or wine as a gift, or some linen, a towel, an old shirt. He was able to pay for a room to sleep in with the wheat and the wine. In exchange, John left them all with a smile. He would also leave for his adventure in the city with a beautiful feeling. There were so many people who wished him well and believed in him. He would certainly not let them down. Testimony from the Silesian world.
La mia esperienza con questi...
My experience with migrants began about 5 years ago with the first landing of unaccompanied minors in Naples. In that case, the municipality, Naples, didn't know where to put these children. So they asked Don Bosco if we had some rooms available to take them in. Thus, Don Bosco immediately said yes. We even prepared 2 communities for about 50 boys. And in this case, it was expected that the municipality would then place these children in other structures. But it turned out that one part of them did want to do this, while another part asked us if we wanted to set up a community for unaccompanied minors to keep these children with us. Naturally, the superiors immediately accepted, because Don Bosco's mission is to take in people in difficulties, especially the latest and the young. And that's where the whole story began. I am a Silesian cooperator, and I have been at Don Bosco for almost 40 years. I came here during the earthquake emergency in 1980. So I came here, and I have never left. From day one, I felt this place was my home, which is what Don Bosco always did with all his young people. I felt like family when I arrived here, and from that day on, I have never left this facility. Now my task in the community, along with Father Vanni, our coordinator, is to reconstruct the personal data of these young people who arrive and provide them with health care in the area. I would like to point out that, to date, this community has collected, contacted, and hosted about 300 young people from 33 different countries in Africa and Asia. This community is now a part of me. I would like to end my testimony by recounting a small episode, so you can understand what it is like to be and live with these youngsters. One day, a boy came back to us who had already left many years ago. Because our principle is that the boys leave us all their documents for the various renewals of their residence permits. This boy was called MD Riaz. I went with him to the police station so he could get his documents, and he told me, "Ettore, whoever contacts me about coming to Europe, I tell them to come to Naples." They are a little puzzled by this, but I tell them, "You have to come to Naples, to Don Bosco." And I replied, "You are telling me this because here am I helping you to get your documents." And he said, "No, Ettore, because I have seen how you love us."
Entrustment to Mary. Welcome us under your mantle, O Mother, you who know what indifference, suffering, abandonment are. Make yourself the travelling companion of those who suffer, who are persecuted, who flee from their country because of war, hunger, and poverty. Help us to take care of the suffering of these brothers and sisters of ours on their way to dignity.
Chieri.